Hey JR, this is Justin Block from JLB Sports TV, and I know you wanted to know about how soccer transfers in Europe actually work, and I have to say it's a lot different than trades in baseball or free agency in the NFL or free agency in basketball or baseball. In soccer, as you know, I don't know if you know this, but there is no salary cap for teams. They can spend whatever the hell you want. So you have a club like Chelsea who was actually in the second division of the English Premier League as soon as 1989 come up, and all of a sudden they're champions of England, and they're this big successful club because an owner like Roman Abramovich, who's a Russian oligarch, can come in and buy the club and just invest all of his money into the club. I think Chelsea are moving at a loss of 70 million pounds per season. So they're losing money constantly and loads of it. But because this owner is big and rich, he can spend all the money he wants on the club. In terms of player transfers, they usually work when a player basically says, "I want out of the club. That's it. I want out of the club." And to avoid maybe a sticky situation or a holdout, I guess, or a player infecting the locker room or the dressing room, ownership then decides to transfer the player. Basically, clubs have no power, and it's kind of tradition in European soccer that when a player asks to be transferred, that the club then oblige and meet the transfer request and look out searching for offers. That's what basically happened with Fernando Torres. He actually signed a new 5-year contract, last July, but you're thinking, all right, how could he move 6 months later? Well, because he entered a transfer request and basically made it clear that he wanted out of the club. So it's tradition that Liverpool get rid of him, and since they got a great deal of 50 million pounds, of course he's going to go. Basically, in European soccer, contracts mean absolutely nothing. Managers point to the point all the time that on speculation that if a player wants to leave, managers always say, "Oh, he just signed a new 4-year deal at the club. He's not going anywhere." No, that's BS. He'll leave if he wants to leave. I was actually proud that Liverpool initially rejected Torres' transfer request. John Henry is the American owner, so I was thinking this is some American sports culture being injected into European soccer. For once, the player has it appears that the player has no power and the owners are actually standing up, because as we know in most American sports, usually the clubs went out or the teams went out and the players are left with nothing. We saw that with Vincent Jackson over the course of the season. I don't know what holding out until week 10 did him any good. Probably nothing good at all. But more often than not, in American sports, I think that we can both agree that the teams ultimately went out. In European soccer, for some reason, the player always wins out. So then you have clubs like Liverpool transferring great midfielders like Javier Mascherano and Xabi Alonso for cut market rates because they simply won out. And because those players left, then Fernando Torres wants out. And it's a vicious cycle until somebody finally puts their foot down and say, no, let's buy players instead of selling all our best ones. So I hope this was helpful for you. I follow European soccer constantly. It's my favorite sport. As you can tell, I have my videos on my channel. I don't know if you visited, but I hope this video was helpful and informative to you. Yeah.